Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
That's right. And to make sure we stay positive, we're going to turn this into somewhat of a drinking game. So anytime we say anything negative at all, you're going to hear the sound. That sound means that we're drinking, and we hope you drink along with us.
So, pour yourself a glass, fellas, prepare your shot, and everyone forgive our background noise because we're recording on the 4th of July weekend. So New York sounds like Fox News would have you believe it sounds like every night.
in New York? Oh my God.
Or any Hollywood movie, yeah. Cheers.
Happy birthday, Dan O, friend of the pod. Today's the day.
Ooh, nice.
As I mentioned last week, Independence Day. Independence Day famously came out on July 2nd, which is Roland's birthday. There you go. And he mentioned the person who sat in the aisle was Chris England. We got a name. I mentioned this on the podcast last week. Independence Day was back in the time when people could sneak into the movie theaters because you didn't have assigned seats. So Chris England had to sit in the aisles the entire movie
right now. Yeah.
in honor for my. Wow. Well, he was generous. Somebody had to do it, and it wasn't going to be birthday boy Dan Osterbuehler. People, we are going to continue on with our box office shit. We're going to continue on with our summer box office.
What are we doing? Yeah.
Our summer blockbuster face-off. God damn it. Our summer blockbuster face-off, where we take the highest grossing summer movie of every year domestically, and we pit them off against each other one by one, head to head, from 1980 to 2019, plus a little grandfathered into Jaws and Star Wars. We are, of course, if you've seen the episode notes, on year 2000 to 2003. Got a couple movies for you this week. We've got Mission Impossible 2 against fucking Shrek.
You forgot what we were talking about.
No.
I have rattled off this list so many times this week, and I keep forgetting one of them. Every time I tell people what we're doing this week, I always forget at least one.
I rewatch them all. I just want to make sure I have them in order. So 2000.
Do you want me to send the graphics to you too, so you just flip your phone out?
Mission Impossible 2, 2000 highest grossing summer movie against the 2001 highest grossing movie, which is Shrek. That's right. More on that later. 2002 is fucking Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, the highest grossing superhero movie of all time up until that point, against 2003's Finding Nemo. So yes, if you're paying attention, we have an animated movie against a huge, monstrous live-action movie. What about we have today? What a card.
One of them, yeah.
Oh boy, Dave coming in for us. Also, all three of us saw Indiana Jones. No, we did. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that mini review, and then we're going to get into this. We got 5 minutes to talk about. We're going to try to keep it quick. John, you want to shout our sponsors out really quick?
Sponsor.
We have an artist in residence who provides all the music for us, even though we are getting tagged on that by some YouTube copyright issues.
Dasan, you have a message on your YouTube. Can you answer that, please? We still haven't been cleared for last week's episode.
Dasai, come on, dude. Oh, yeah. Dasai, DASEIN, providing all the music on this episode and every single episode. You can find the music on every single music platform. You know it. You go to it. You can find their music. Download, enjoy, stream. You're welcome.
Seriously, I've done some research. Yeah. Just message me. I can tell you how to fix this.
All right. Yeah. I know
we're talking to an audience of one here. Dave, any news you want to shout out before we start talking about Indiana Jones?
No real news for me. I don't think. No. Let's talk about Indiana Jones.
I woke up super stopped up today. I'm having weird allergies, so I apologize.
I've been having
for my nasal situation, and if you're watching, you might see me raise.
Or you have allergies.
I don't
lay off the cheese, dude.
All right,
lay off the dairy. All right. So we're going to get us started with the mini review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. We're going to keep it mini because we got a lot of movies to talk about here. This just came out in theaters this week. The reviews were not particularly great, but the excitement was high. $295 million budget, directed by James Mangold, produced, of course, by Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall, Simon Emanuel, and the works. A little distribution by
I ended up in the same room
Disney.
as Steven Spielberg this week.
Yes. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, let's talk about our celebrity encounters this week, Dave.
It was great. He's such a nice guy. I was like, after we got him all sorted to speak, he was speaking at one of my jobs this week, and we got him all sorted, and I've snuck in the room trying to be discreet, and they'd put a false stage in the back of the room so that people at the back of the room could like elevate themselves a little bit and see, and some guy like forgot the stage was there and just walked straight off the end of it in the middle of Steven Spielberg talking and ate shit on the floor, and all you heard was this thump. But he's behind a column, so no one could see well. Like, he's right next to me.
Wow.
I'm trying to hide in the back of the room and be discreet, and this guy's like stacked it right next to me, and it was like, I was like, "Fuck, I'm out of the room." So yeah, that was basically the long and short.
Did Steven acknowledge it? Did he have a fun one-liner?
No, he didn't. He I mean, I'm sure he could hear the thump, but there's columns in this room, so like the guy who fell down was behind the column, so all he heard was ungodly thump of this guy eating shit. And he just carried on like a pro, as if it was like, yeah, that was some random noise. Don't know what that was. Processing it, moving on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was at a stoplight this week, and I saw Jeff Goldblum.
What?
Walking his daughters and with his wife across the street, like right in front of my car, fully decked out in his little pork pie hat and a funky little outfit, crazy sneakers. I was like, that's Jeff fucking Goldblum. I didn't. Yeah, he was exactly as you thought he would be. Like, he seemed to be like talking to all three of them and telling them jokes, and they were all giving him a look like, "Oh my God, shut up, Dad."
Yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, all right. Fantastic, guys. So this movie was co-written by the Butterworths. Jez Butterworth,
Jeff.
Tony Award winner, John Henry Butterworth. And
Jeff did not want to talk to us about our anecdotes.
no, it's great. I love the story encounters.
Jeff is minding the timer, and I appreciate that.
None for me this week.
Just take the timer as a suggestion. Fuck.
Dave and I had a fun little outing. We took the significant others. We had Therese and Angela, joined by Mark, who really confused us.
Yeah, Mark was that was fun. We turned up.
Fun.
Okay, so just quick story. All right, so we took Mark from the Matt and Mark movie show.
Jeff, can you tell this story, or do we need? Are you okay? Are you going to be all right if we tell this anecdote, or do you need to go fuck yourself? Yeah.
Do I need to go fuck myself? Guys, give me just 5 minutes. I need to go fuck myself.
Yeah, it'll take 2. But
2 minutes, so liberal.
So we've gone to the, we booked that. I hit these guys up earlier, and I booked all the tickets through A-List, Entourage sort of thing. We bought
Entourage.
I bought tickets for my wife to sit with us as well, and so we all turn up.
My wife.
And Mark's like, "Are you guys here? Because I'm sitting in E14 or whatever it was."
He just changed rows.
I'm like, "We booked row F." No, it was in E12.
E12.
Like, we booked row F. He's like, "Yeah, but I can't sit off center." So he snuck into the row in front of us to sit in E12. I'm sitting fucking right behind him. Like,
I was going to say E and F. How far was this conversation?
I could have chewed his ear during the movie if I was bored. Like, and we're like, what the fuck? Just say something. We would have swapped seats with you. You could have sat in the middle. It's okay.
The movie ends and we're all outside and we can't find him. So we're literally like, was he even here? Like, did we even see him?
Yeah. We saw him briefly. You know, and then he's like,
have his.
Yeah, it was weird, and it was fun. It was like, you know, but a little early in the friendship to be pulling that kind of quirky bullshit. I don't know.
We hung out. I feel like we had to hang out. We were like, we have to get some drinks afterwards. We gotta reset.
We had a great time. We all had a great time. I think he just didn't want to sit with us.
Mark, awesome. Anyway, John, what do you think of Dial of Destiny?
I think if you're an Indiana Jones fan, I think you're going to enjoy it, especially if you're an Indiana Jones fan that was kind of let down by Crystal Skull, which, you know, not to be the Debbie Downer, but I think a lot of people were frustrated. My only maybe that I'll throw this in there, it had a lot of CGI. So if you're a little frustrated with the use of CGI in certain movies, this has a lot of it. So there's a lot more suspension of disbelief and a lot less practical than are in the OG first 3 Indiana Jones. So I don't think that helped the movie, but I still had fun. How about you guys?
I mean, I want to share, like, as I'm walking out, there's a guy bitching it out behind me. Like, really? I sat down and I had some fun. This guy's like, I can't believe they did yada yada or whatever. Like, it was like, because the third act makes a pretty big swing. Just gonna say that, and I, you know what? I just went with it. Fuck it. And this guy's like, "Oh, I can't believe they did that." And I'm like, "Really? In the first fucking movie, they opened the Ark of the Covenant."
They drink out of Jesus's cup in the third movie. Like, it's okay, like, guys.
You chose.
There's a limit, Dave.
There's always a limit.
Apparently, it's anything Star Trek's done can't be done in this. So,
I actually had a lot of. You go ahead.
We do seem as a community to have, and I have been thinking about this. Because of Crystal Skull and now because of this, without giving too many details away, there does seem to be a resistance, the Indiana Jones film-going fans, to sci-fi as opposed to supernatural. Like there seems to be something when we get into that realm where we kind of feel like, wait, that doesn't belong in this story.
There are no whips and hats in sci-fi.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was something I was thinking about.
I mean, in the second movie, a guy puts his hand in someone's chest and pulls their fucking heart out. Come on.
Just like
realism, gritty, neo-realism.
I had a lot of fun. It's a little long. The action sequences, there were so many, and they were long. They were so clear. I know there was a lot of CGI, but it was very clear. They gave us good focal points so that it was never. I was never confused during any of them. It was very straightforward, but it was always moving. I think the de-aging worked really well for me. Like obviously you can't watch it and not think about the de-aging, but I think they were self-aware. I think they did a good job with it.
I had to talk myself out of watching that, looking for critiques and that, because there weren't many. That was spectacularly done.
And of course,
and they developed a new method of doing it for this movie, which really they fucking sold it. And I thought it was a short sequence. It's not.
And shout out to James Mangold for maybe taking a lesson from The Irishman. He didn't hang on Harrison in really, really well lit scenes too long. I feel like the way they went to him and cut away from him, it didn't give you too much time where you got in your head about, am I believing this or not?
Well, see, Irishman was the old method as well. Was it ILM? I think it was ILM, developed a new method for the de-aging technique with him.
Probably, Lucasfilm.
Because they have a new, basically they went back and scanned his entire filmography. So they had an angle of his face in every lighting. And that's what they used for the composites. So it was a new method and it worked really, really well.
I love Phoebe Waller.
It was a little weird for me, and I couldn't remember if Crystal Skull had already happened after the acquisition, but seeing Disney before seeing Lucasfilm weirded me out.
Yeah.
Seeing it
for
first,
Indiana Jones. I know we see it every time we watch the Star Wars stuff now on Disney Plus, but this movie, I don't know why. I was hearing the music, which, by the way, how old is John Williams?
Still
right? Out. I was like, who wrote the music to this?
I think this was his last.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It would be a wonderful. I hope
Yeah,
anyway,
I will say James Mangold really knows how to finish something.
I had fun. It was definitely long. I have a feeling at home it's not going to play as well as it did in the theater because of how long it is and because of how many action sequences it is. And because, look, it is formula. You know exactly how every sequence is going to end. You know when the confrontations are going to happen. You know when they separate. You know when they're going to come back together. You know, that part's not surprising. I still think that it's enough to carry you through. I still think it's enough.
It is still my top 2 punching Nazis film of the year.
Top 2 punching Nazis film of the year. All right, people.
Our new segment.
That was our mini review on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. If you hate us or if I mispronounce something, go on YouTube and Dave will respond.
That one came at us from Facebook, dude.
And I think it's time that we get into our first bout of the night. 2000 against 2001, Mission Impossible 2 against Shrek. Let's go. All right, people. 2000. Fucking Y2K.
Yeah, fuck all happened.
And then movies start getting
I took the night off at New Year of 1999 because I was like, I had a job in a band and I had a job working tech for a comedy show, and I was like, "There's no way,
Peter.
There's no way in hell I was going to be fucking in that control booth where shit went down." So I took a band gig that night just in case they were right.
I mean, you gotta keep yourself busy.
Yeah, carry on.
All right, John, what movies made some money in 2000?
I mean, you guys were 10. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah.
John, what movies made some money in the year 2010 according to the numbers?
So 1, 2, 3 for the summer. First of all, number one, again, the rules, folks, just domestic, just for the year. Of course, these movies make more money when they go foreign and after the year. But the number one above this for the entire year came out in November. It was How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Jim Carrey, Ron Howard's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So that took it home with about 30 to 40 more $1 million. So pretty clear. Then, so number 1, 2, and 3 for the summer are Mission Impossible 2, number 1, Gladiator, fuck yeah. And The Perfect Storm, also a really fun one.
Still
George
something
Clooney.
I haven't seen.
Really?
I've never seen Perfect Storm.
Dave, I'm pretty sure Bill Pope your boy films that, and he has a great Deacons podcast he talked about Perfect Storm like the whole time.
But remember there are two things in this universe that terrify me: black holes and tidal waves.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah. I also want to call out number 6, X-Men, which for me, other superhero movies came out, but I think I'm going to go ahead and cite that as a very, very important part for people who think of where we are with film history.
Yeah.
With the superheroes coming in. That is the movie that supposedly, from his own mouth, Chris Nolan sat in a movie theater and watched and said, fuck, I want to do that, but I want to do it with Batman. And that was when he first had the, oh my God, I that's what I've been wanting to do, take a superhero movie seriously.
Who has not sat there and thought, I want to do it with Batman?
Jesus Christ. Here's a fun number 7, Scary Movie. I'm glad that came in there pretty strong. What Lies Beneath? Aaron Brockovich. Jeff, I'll try to leave the Oscar movies to you because I know you're going to set that up.
Okay. No,
the sequel to Nutty Professor, Big Mama's House, Charlie's Angels, Remember the Titans. That was a touchstone movie for mine and Jeff's generation.
When I bought my first Blu-ray player, that was one of the 2 Blu-rays they gave you for free.
Sure. Yeah. M. Night Shyamalan, Unbreakable, Scream 3, Road Trip. Holy shit, Jeff, I'm going like back in time. Road Trip? Are you kidding me? Tom Green. And I'll end with this one just because it's fun, because Jeff's going to list off some more important movies. Fantasia 2000. I remember that was a fun little callback when that came out. I remember Disney trying to recapture the magic, and I was all about it. I fucking love that movie. Coyote Ugly, Stuart Little, The Green Mile.
I was terrified by the first one.
Jeff, set us up for the year. Give us because this is another really great Oscar year for some people listening.
It's a really good Oscar year. I'll also clarify that at the worldwide box office, Mission Impossible 2 was the top grossing movie, and a movie that came out at the very end of the year. So it came out in this year, and it will be on the charts if you look at different metrics and stuff. Is Castaway. Castaway did come out in the year 2000, made a ton of money, but most of that money was made in 2001. That's right, when Tom Hanks fucked the volleyball. So in 2000, the most expensive...
I know he did, but did you have to put it like that?
He said something, Tom Hanks said something recently, like, Rita Wilson, thanks for 40 years of marriage. I love you so much. And Wilson was like, oh, so he's just, those 4 years we spent together meant nothing. Like the Wilson handles. Okay. The most expensive film of the year was actually Disney's Dinosaurs, which was a hit. And then Chicken Run was the highest grossing stop motion movie ever. And The Grinch is actually at this point the highest grossing Christmas movie ever. And up to this point, the highest grossing Jim Carrey opening weekend. I mean, I don't know, man.
Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. Bruce Willis said.
And leading into the Oscars, I think this year can also be noted for the Joaquin-assance, where he plays villains in both Gladiator and Quills. Quills does not get remembered very well, but he just knowing that Joaquin was the villain in that movie.
But he's Gladiator.
That was a good year for Joaquin. And he's still in his 20s. Okay, Gladiator.
Kate Winslet. Good movie.
Oh my God, so good. Jeffrey, oh my God. And then when the telephone chain starts changing the story, and Jeffrey Wright's like, well, maybe they'll make it better. Quills, people. Gladiator wins Best Picture, but Steven Soderbergh wins Best Director for Traffic. And shout out, Steven Soderbergh. Not only did he beat Ridley Scott, he also beats Ang Lee for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and that's it. That's who he beat. Oh, and Spielberg.
I might call that decision into question.
And just to clarify that, Steven Soderbergh released Aaron Brockovich and Traffic in the same year. That's God, what a hardworking gentleman.
Yeah. So Best Actor goes to Russell Crowe. Tom Hanks was nominated for Castaway, of course. Julia Roberts was a clean sweep for Aaron Brockovich, won almost everything. Yeah. Supporting actor Benicio del Toro wins for Traffic, beating Albert Finney for fucking Aaron Brockovich, and then Joaquin, of course. And supporting actress Marcia Gay Harden wins for Pollock, beating Judi Dench for Chocolat, Julie Walters for Billy Elliot, and Frances McDormand / Kate Winslet for Almost Famous, which of course won original screenplay. Traffic won adapted screenplay, and Crouching Tiger won a lot of awards. Actually won a lot, which was really cool. Shout out Ang Lee. Other notable movies: Boondock Saints, Scream 3, The Beach, Poor Leo, Boiler Room, The Whole Nine Yards, Wonder Boys, Reindeer Games, Final Destination comes out this year. Woo! Ooh. Romeo Must Die, High Fidelity, 28 Days. Their sequel's coming out soon. American Psycho, Love and Basketball, Center Stage, Road Trip, you said, John, Big Mama's House, Gone in 60 Seconds, Shaft, The Patriot.
Right there. Time is
guys, what's your favorite movie of 2000 if you had to pick out of this magnificent list?
Dude, Where's My Car?
That did go to a very weird place.
Yeah. Oh, bring it on! And Best in Show also came out this year. Good stuff.
I watched that year.
I hope you watched it. Yeah.
I rewatched.
Oh, you watched
I
it that
rewatched
year,
Gladiator recently, as I told you, and I have to say, it didn't hold up as well as I remembered it. The action sequences did, but the story was a little rushed for me. This thing's happened.
Yeah, I think it's Crouching Tiger for me.
I think it's Crouching Tiger. We did the we brought it. We talked about it.
We watched that. Yeah.
Go through our feed, people. Crouching Tiger.
All right, let's get into it.
Mission Impossible 2. Did you guys do the rewatch?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I'm accidentally still paying for Paramount Plus, which is still on. So there you go.
Yeah, they got some weird covers on Paramount Plus, but they're all there.
Weird covers. Dave, we like to start with you in these little breakdowns. What did you think of your rewatch of Mission Impossible 2? Did you rewatch it for the franchise Face-Off, or did you skip this and then just rewatch it now?
For the franchise Face-Off, I did the latter ones because, in my opinion, this franchise was good in 1 and then really kicked off in 3.
Phil Seymour was good in 3, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there was something that ground my gears about 2, and I don't know what it was. Well, I do know what it was now because I rewatched it this week, and it's like they tried to make Ethan Hunt James Bond.
I mean, how many times do I have to say that in this podcast?
Yeah. That he's quipping. There's like he's not it's weird. There's so many fucking mixed messages in it. Yeah, I don't know. This one for me, it was like it's not a good Mission Impossible movie.
Dave still feels this way because I think a lot of people probably felt that way at the time too, despite these numbers being so fantastic, like clearly being the number one.
They were running off Mission Impossible 1. Everyone goes and sees it because it's like Mission Impossible 1 was awesome. And they got 2 and it puts it through the roof. And I'm like, they got lucky that 3 carried it. Yeah. But like when you look at it from the case of Mission Impossible 2, there are some good things that happened. I mean, this was originally going to be directed by Oliver Stone. Can you imagine the film we would have got?
So are you saying your first good thing that happened was that Oliver Stone did not direct it and John Woo directed it?
The good thing that happened was this was actually one of the pioneers. Like this is very tech, but it was one of the pioneers of advanced 3D photogrammetry. So like the whole dive out the window in Sydney, they actually photographed the shit out of it, applied it to 3D models, and that was like it was almost like a rehearsal for The Matrix.
Ooh. Yeah, Dave, was this nostalgic watch? I forgot so much of this took place in Sydney.
I've been in every location they shot. Pretty much.
I bet. They really used that town. I don't know what kind of tax credit they had.
This is 2 movies this week that Dave gets to go back to Sydney for.
When we get the motorbike chase, no, there is no fucking bush like that close to Sydney. So
I wondered where that was.
I gave him some slack on that. But another thing, this guy actually gave us Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Because Doug Ray Scott was originally cast as Wolverine for the X-Men films.
Right, I remember this. Flip happened very fast.
This went a year over production.
John Woo.
So he had to drop out, and Hugh Jackman got the gig.
Do you think Doug Ray Scott holds it against John Woo a little bit?
Oh my God, I feel like Doug Ray Scott is like stalking his family over this.
Guys, how many villains look like some kind of composite of Sean Bean and or Jason Isaacs? I feel like every single person in here
in my head, it was Sean Bean until I pressed play because I had not watched this in years. But you're totally right. Dave, I'm going to agree with you and say that I bet I know why you and all of us feel like it didn't really start up again until 3. And I think for me, it's really, really, really simple. It's not just that they tried to make him a James, because I know what you mean. James kind of exists. James Bond.
We're on first name basis for us here at the
we were talking about Steven at the beginning of the episode. Now we're talking about James. J.J. Abrams, when they picked this up in number 3, even though it did not do financially as well as they had hoped it would do, they laid the ground floor for Ethan Hunt to go into a relationship. It now became a character piece. In number 2, it was not. So the intrigue that was established in number 1 with Brian De Palma's film, really took it to a whole other level, a cinematic level that everybody was all about. And number 2, they clearly had not made a decision really if they were going to create some kind of character background, and they didn't.
Well, apparently the script went through so many changes; it was apparently still being worked on when they were in production.
Which is probably not.
And I mean that
crazy
worked.
Uncommon,
that worked for the original Super Mario Brothers, but
They did that for Gladiator too. They wrote that as they shot. But yeah, for me, what's missing from 2 and why it feels like it's such a standalone compared to 3 up until what is probably going to continue into the Dead Reckonings is Ethan's background. The reason he's fighting, or maybe not the reason he's fighting, but an enormous obstacle and stressor that's always in the background now is his relationship with his wife and that he's always protecting her. And these friends that he has built into his team for the IMF that he now has emotional ties to. He's not so freelance and
playing
independent.
on that in the new one, but
So I think that for me, there were no.
That was the thing that rubbed me wrong. They introduced Tandaway Newton, who's a fantastic actress.
Thandaway Newton? Yeah.
Tandaway, it's Tandaway. I made a point of looking this up because when they originally credited her, they credited her as Thandy, which is a typo.
And how a lot of people still refer to her as, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people still call her.
Her actual name is Tandaway Newton. And they introduced her as this world-class thief that he had to go and get, and then turned her into a sex object.
And that was kind of Bond-esque too, where it was like they got a relationship. So immediately it was like, did that mean nothing? And it was like, you guys just met and you're both thieves. Like, that's just to jump into this. That's it for me too, because I think that they spent a lot of time hitting their marks.
What a waste.
For things like the exploding sunglasses. It's framed perfectly, the Mission Impossible thing. I think they did the face coverings really well, that they don't really do that anymore in the new ones as much as they did back then. I think that the masks, and they pull that off really well with when the guy with the broken pinky
and the coverings.
and he case.
Well, also I think the other thing that rubbed everyone wrong was the first time you see Ethan Hunt, he's an asshole.
Well, the first time you see him, the first time you see him, he's doing a free solo. Well, yes, but I think they do it in a pretty good way because it's so obviously not him. I don't think anybody in the theater, because I actually saw this in theater. Actually, I think this is the first week where I saw all 4 movies in the theater. I think there was one last week that I didn't see in the theaters, or maybe I saw. No, never mind. This is 2 weeks in a row that I've seen.
Getting old enough to see the PG-13s.
Fuck yeah, baby, yeah, let's go. But no, so you obviously the way he was sitting in the plane, like you knew that it wasn't him. It seemed too much. I think even as a kid, I think I remember that.
The hair made it.
But the free solo thing was cool to go from explosion, and now he's being a badass, but in like a calmer way. But so I really feel like they spent a lot of time hitting their marks.
The free climbing thing as well, he really did. So points for that.
Yeah, this is really cool. Yeah, he's starting to touch on doing all that stuff himself. He's starting to turn into it. But let's just back up from like a character standpoint. Jeff, can you imagine and he produces these movies, folks. So it's not like he was just a victim of this stuff.
Was he producing?
You can almost feel them. Sorry?
Was he producing then?
Yeah,
I think
he was.
He was the first one. I think
this was a Cruise.
Okay, cool.
Cruise Wagner started this whole thing, but it's interesting to me because I guess they were still figuring out: do we want to be standalone like the Bonds? And as a character, I think you can see him as an actor approaching a character. You can see that he's still, even moment to moment, and I'm not criticizing the acting moment to moment, but just in terms of character arc, you could see Tom Cruise as an actor being placed in a scenario where there wasn't a super objective other than save the day. There wasn't anything emotionally grounding him to other human beings. And I feel like from 3 and on, you start to feel him. He is constantly about to lose somebody. And that makes all of this a wonderful action mean so much more because you feel like if he doesn't, think about the way 3 opens.
On that point,
that wonderful torture sequence where you think,
oh my god,
it's just a whole other world.
The Philip Seymour Hoffman countdown gave me nightmares. Just the way he counted down.
I mean, I'm still terrified.
You don't think I'll do it? I'll fucking do it. Yeah, dude, it's so good.
Like that, that was what they did. Like the thing is, like you see the Ethan Hunt we end up with halfway through this movie.
That's sure.
They find the character halfway through this, but
there are really good.
The good thing about it is what followed it with Mission Impossible 3. They took the notes.
I think so,
and it gave us 3 through what are we up to 9?
I like the idea of the viral outbreak and they're going to spread it and they have the cure and that's what they're going to make the money after the spread. I like the idea of so much of this. Of course, they have the heisty sequence. They have of course, they have to, which might have been too close to the original, maybe. But I don't know. On the whole, I think this is a pretty good, fun action movie in the summer. I just don't think that I ever needed to. I don't know if I ever needed to see it again. If you know what I mean. I think
it didn't feel Mission Impossible at all.
Well, I was just about to ask you guys though.
I disagree. I think it did for me.
I had a shockingly not shockingly, I just haven't seen this in a long time, and I really enjoyed rewatching it.
Yeah,
Despite everything we're saying, like, let's just tip our hat for a second. I like Paula Wagner and Tom Cruise for taking chances on bringing new directors into these movies that they make, and like, oh, we like your taste. Let's see what you'll do with our franchise or our story. John Woo made a John Woo film. They hired him to make a John Woo film, and he fucking crushed it.
So
and
many pigeons.
It's honestly John Woo. So many
doves,
birds.
Whatever. What is
it's
it?
so stylized. It's really pretty. There's a lot of really beautiful cinematic. That period of Asian martial arts film. It really, in a way, it works. I just don't know if it works in context of the Mission Impossible franchise. But I really had fun watching it. I was kind of blown away by
the
how much
original
fun
Mission Impossible. There was a lot of running. There was a lot of like brutal fighting. This one had wire work that was obviously wire work, and it was so much of a change.
Yeah, let's put people in context.
There's so
for a
obviously
second.
set pieces. I like the horse racing one because it kind of moved around, but yeah.
There were not. I think we were also at the time when this movie came out. For people who are younger than us, the first one was not action packed. No. And I think some people were turned off by how much action there was in this one. But now this one didn't seem more action-packed than the other ones. It just felt less grounded because of the lack of character. So anyway, I would still recommend, if you haven't seen this in a while, I'd never watched this one when I rewatched the Mission Impossibles. Give it another shot. I had fun.
Give it another shot.
Some good supporting characters.
It's not as bad as I remember. I just remember being extremely disappointed when I went and saw it.
Brandon Gleeson.
Tom Cruise has a great head of hair, doesn't he?
Oh my
let's keep going.
God, yeah.
The way they shot and framed Anthony Hopkins, where he was always looking off to the side.
He was in it for like 2 minutes.
He was like a dragon.
How much did he get paid, you guys? Yeah. Full quote. He was there for like a day and a half.
And he was like, these lines are kind of cheesy. And he's like, if you say them as written, $3 million for 2 days.
I didn't remember this part either. I forgot he was in it, and then I was like, is he going to turn out to be the villain? Because that'd be awesome.
They framed him like that, but it was,
Meet me in Seville. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Mission Impossible.
Meet me in Seville.
All right. That's our segment right there. We are now heading against fucking Shrek, people. 2001. Holy shit. Fucking Shrek. Which they had to make into a musical. It was so goddamn good. John, tell us, because this year, 2001, 99, I feel like was a big year in film. 2000 was a pretty good year in film, but 2001 is a 10-pole year in film. John, what were the highest grossing movies of 2001?
Yeah, this is a pretty crazy year. A lot of people forget there were two fantasy franchises that premiered this year, Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Now, both of them, folks, this is pretty impressive. Both of them were Christmassy releases. So Harry Potter came out in mid-November, and Lord of the Rings came out in mid-December, right before the Christmas week.
It was like my birthday. It was my birthday. It came out on my birthday. I went and saw it for my birthday.
Harry Potter is number one at about 300 million, according to the numbers domestic. So Shrek is number two. That's our summer movie. Folks, it came out in mid-May, and it was still about 13 million behind. So I just wanted to point that out. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, coming in at about 70 to 80 million less than that. But they came out a month later than Harry Potter. They would go on to gross quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
So let's keep going. Monsters, Inc., Pixar, coming in strong. We're going to visit them in the next round. So this was their second big release after Toy Story 2. No. So Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc.
That is correct,
yes,
John.
Shrek is. Yes. But Monsters, Inc. is Pixar. So I was just pointing out
Monsters, Inc. was their fourth film, yeah.
Anyway, Mummy Returns, give it up. We like the Mummy movies.
Oh, yeah.
Pearl Harbor, Jurassic Park 3 with that giant fucking new dinosaur that they invented for that movie.
Also, proves that people will see the same movie 3 times.
I saw Jeff Goldblum walking his family across the street. What else we got? Fucking Hannibal.
Finds a way.
Ocean's 11, fun stuff. Come on. Speaking of Soderbergh, boom, boom, boom.
Ocean's 11.
Can you believe that? He has 2 movies the year before this, and then he comes out. What an amazing 2 years that guy had. American Pie 2, Fast and the Furious. Guys, have I ever told you guys that I like the Fast and the Furious movie?
That's another multi-billion-dollar franchise that started this year.
So we're kind of coming into that world,
family.
folks. It's all about family. Jeff, why don't you give us some context for some of the Oscars and stuff?
If we back out to any movie that came out this year and their whole worldwide box office haul, Harry Potter is still number one at $965 million. Lord of the Rings actually will come in number two. Most of that money was made in the following year. And then Monsters, Inc. is number three. Shrek comes in at number four. Monsters, Inc. and Shrek, these animated films, most of their domestic share was in America, whereas Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings made a lot of money overseas, obviously.
Oh, well, of course.
So Shrek is technically the fourth highest grossing movie worldwide. All of those other movies were late releases anyway, so that's it. That's summer movie, Shrek. A lot of them are around Halloween. Okay, cool. So A Beautiful Mind wins the Oscar for Best Picture. The BAFTA actually does go to Fellowship of the Ring, and the Producers Guild goes.
Cool.
To,
I didn't know that.
And Producers Guild goes to Moulin Rouge. Director Ron Howard. Ron Howard got the statue for A Beautiful Mind.
Yes, I can.
That's okay. Denzel Washington wins the Oscar for Training Day.
Without that.
Denzel Washington wins the Oscar for Training Day. He beats Russell Crowe for Beautiful Mind, who just won for Gladiator the year before. And Halle Berry wins for Monsters Ball, and the famous she wins a. We hate the Razzies after we tried to pretend like the Razzies were fun and fuck the Razzies, but
fuck the Razzies.
So anyway, Halle Berry wins for Monsters Ball. Jim Broadbent wins for Iris.
That was the year she took her Oscar to the Razzies, wasn't it?
It's the other way around because the Razzies are the day before, but so Halle Berry wins for Monsters Ball. Jim Broadbent wins an Oscar for this movie Iris that I don't know if anybody's seen. No, I'm kidding. But he actually won the BAFTA for Moulin Rouge. So good year for Jim Broadbent in supporting roles.
Yes.
And Ian McKellen actually wins the SAG Award for Fellowship of the Ring. And Jennifer Connelly does pretty much a clean sweep for A Beautiful Mind for supporting actress. Helen Mirren does win, I think, a BAFTA for Gosford Park. She won something. Writing was A Beautiful Mind for Akiva Goldsman and Gosford Park for Julian Fellows, yes, of Downton Abbey fame. And also nominated this year was a very important movie for somebody. Y Tu Mama Tambien was nominated for Best Original Screenplay and Film Not in the English Language. Shout out, Fonzo. Shout out, Alfonso. Other movies that came out this year: Legally Blonde, The Score, The Princess Diaries, Zoolander, Mulholland Drive, and one film that we talked about, Cameron Crowe's Vanilla Sky. Save the Last Dance, Saving Silverman, Down to Earth, starring Academy Award winner Brendan Fraser. I love saying Academy Award winner Brendan Fraser when going through his catalog for this shit. The Mexican, which I keep seeing posters for. I don't know, it must be on Max or something, but I keep seeing this goddamn poster of The Mexican with Brad Pitt and
Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Cast a white guy in The Mexican.
Exit Wounds. Memento comes out this year in 2001. Enemy of the Gate, Spy Kids, another big franchise for mostly kids. Blow, Joe Dirt, Josie and the Pussycats, another Crocodile Dundee movie.
Josie and the Pussycats is one of my go-to guilty pleasure films.
There you go. This year, Crocodile Dundee in L.A. Knight's Tale. Shout out Heath Ledger. He really saved that movie.
Crocodile Dundee in L.A. is not.
The Animals, Swordfish, Wet Hot American Summer, Rat Race remake, which I really liked. I saw it in theater. Bubble Boy. Rock Hard. Hardball, From Hell, Donnie Darko, Spy Game, Behind Enemy Lines, and Todd Field's In the Bedroom. Last but not least, Ali gives Will Smith his first acting nomination. 2001.
What do you know? It was a character that threw punches.
Jesus, Dave. All right.
Wow.
Shrek, guys.
Jesus.
Shrek's fucking awesome. So let's hear what you guys thought of the rewatch of Shrek. Let's go. Shrek, Dave, did you rewatch this movie this year? It is available to stream.
I have seen this movie so many fucking times.
Same.
Repeatability is through the roof.
And
I was researching this because I do research for this show.
Oh, research.
And and I found out, and I did not know this because they re-recorded the dialogue 3 times for this film, for Shrek, because it was originally Chris Farley as Shrek, and he died with 90% of the dialogue recorded.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I want to hear that version because Chris Farley is fucking funny. I'd love to hear it. But then
no
they recorded
accent,
it again.
as far as no accent. He didn't do the Scottish accent.
No, he didn't. Then Mike Myers recorded it with a Canadian accent, and then about 80% through, Mike Myers was like, "What if he had a Scottish accent?" And then they did it all again with Mike Myers doing
such a
Scottish
choice.
accent, and history was fucking made.
Guys, Eddie Murphy was nominated for a BAFTA for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role for his voiceover work in this movie.
Dude, there are so many fun stories to come out of this. Did you know that the animators at DreamWorks were working on both Shrek and Prince of Egypt at the same time? And if you fucked up,
that was so long ago,
if you fucked up on Prince of Egypt, you were sent to the Shrek room because they had so little faith in this project.
That was the B team?
Yeah.
I fucking love that. Lion King was the B team.
It was known as being Shreked. You were sent to the Shrek room.
I listened to the Men Who Would Be King. It's like the history of DreamWorks not too long ago. It's a book. It's pretty interesting if anybody's interested in like film history.
Also,
and that came up quite a bit. It was like this was in the background of DreamWorks animation.
Because they threw everything into
Prince of Egypt was in '98. That's 3 years later.
Yeah.
This took a long time. Well, this was the beginning of the company.
It took 4 years to make this thing.
The company that was competing against Pixar with this 3D animation, they basically, hired them.
3D.
And then after this did really, really well, and God, I'm not going to get the name or the number right, but they sold the company after this. Well, Pixar was already valued at like billions of dollars. And they sold this company after the success of Shrek for millions. Yeah. And everybody was just like so fucking angry. There's so much weird drama about what was happening in the background and how this movie was truly shunned in DreamWorks. And then it came out, it premiered in Cannes. They fucking took it to Cannes. That was the premiere of Shrek. Can you believe that? How fucking hilarious
How
is that?
long standing ovation did that get?
I mean, look,
I loved it.
Cannes loves celebrities. And when you have Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz in 2001, John Lithgow, Vincent Cassel,
Cameron
Jim
Diaz
Cummings. I mean,
that, by the way.
Yeah, Cameron Diaz really did.
Did you know that this movie was screened at Disney Legal to avoid lawsuits? They called the Disney lawyers in and screened the film.
They should. I mean, I was watching it this time, kind of in our Roger Rabbit conversation. I was like, how did they get away with using 7 dwarves and all those fairy tale characters?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was a collaboration. But in this case, they were like, okay, we've said a lot of shit about like some stuff.
A lot of shit.
They screened it for Disney Legal, which is really funny because Lord Farquaad, which is funny enough as it is, was modeled on Michael Eisner, who was the current CEO of Disney.
Jesus Christ. Which is, not to get in the hot water here, but Jeffrey Katzenberg, who's the K and SKG of DreamWorks, had a bad leaving from Disney after killing it in the second golden age of Disney. Him and Eisner had a bad lawsuit. They did not get along. That's funny. Yeah, he was kind of modeled after his enemy.
It was, that was a whole thing. And
so did you rewatch it?
Yes, of course I rewatched it. It's awesome.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
I rewatched this.
Smash Mouth wasn't even supposed to be in that movie.
And it was immediately. I rewatched it. I forgot that it was like a minute in. They started telling the story, and I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be like a Beauty and the Beast intro. And they're like, yeah, like that'll happen. Somebody. that song. This is a TikTok over the pandemic. Out of all of the songs in the world, can you guess this song on one note? That's all. Just literally, if you go everybody in the country's like, yep,
Shrek, yep, yeah. But like that, they put that in as a placeholder. They were going to get some other music before, and then when the animators saw it, it was like, fuck no, this has to stay. It's perfect.
It's so good. It's so good.
I heard a couple good anecdotes in the book about how the directors, Andrew Adamson and Vicky Jensen, Adamson apparently was working with, their team of animators, and they had been hiring, of course, voice actors to do a lot of the bit parts, the fairy tale characters, Pinocchio, the Three Pigs, things like that. And he convinced Katzenberg and the team to allow him to just let the animators who were doing just stand-in voice work with the jokes and stuff to stay in because they were doing such a good job. So all of those hilarious, the German accents and Pinocchio's ridiculous voice.
This is one of those things where
the animators.
It's like, how the fuck did they get that across the line? Like with Roger Rabbit, like it's the same thing with Shrek. It's like, how the fuck did that stay in the movie? And because it just all works, because we all want to take a little bit of piss out of some of that stuff, and they do it so subtly and perfectly.
Do you think it helps that we say this now? Actually, this is really funny. I'm going to say this. I don't give a shit. I played I was in a band that played at a Drew Barrymore's daughter's birthday party. So I talked to Drew Barrymore a little bit, and they were talking about princess stories. She was talking with a group of people, and it was like, yeah, we're trying to find new stories because the old princess stories, it's always the same kind of thing, and the woman is just saved by a prince, and it's not a good thing. But I was like, yeah, and what if the prince sucks? And she laughed. That was one of my favorite jokes of all time. Because I was like, yeah, what if the prince sucks?
Did you create Ever After?
Well, okay, this is definitely 20 years after Ever After, but it's funny because how I mean, I'm sure this wasn't the first time that a princess story was broken, like literally broken, like fucking Bane breaking Batman's back. But like, this is so. This movie comes out and basically says, you know what, these princess stories are kind of full of shit. Yourself. And then it creates this new princess story. And forget the fact that it ends with Fiona becoming the ogre, which is just one of the great twists of all time, especially in children's movies. Like a children's movie twist. How great is it that her true love self, you know, that she becomes the ogre?
It's like, this is who I really am. Fuck it.
But just forgetting that, just the fact that she's like, I wanted to meet my prince, and just the whole idea of like calling that into question, like what a great story. Same thing with like the Frozen, where it's like, what if true love was two sisters' love and not, you know, romantic male-female love? I just think that alone, you're setting yourself up for success, and then you get the best comedic people around, some of the biggest celebrities. I mean, and then obviously the creators are. It's fucking brilliant. Everything about this, you listen to it and you're like, what a good
Donkey
choice.
Was originally supposed to be, was it Chris Rock? I think Donkey was originally.
Because Eddie Murphy played really hard to get.
I don't know.
I'll look it up. Anyway, I just think
it was I will say I had not seen this in a very long time, and I remembered like really, really liking it when I was a kid. I really liked it in the rewatch. It's totally rewatchable. I think kids are going to be able to rewatch it, and you know, of later generations, and still enjoy themselves. But more unlike a lot of other like animated movies that had come before and will come during and come after, it kind of stands alone in the sense that it is a comedy. It's not, the stakes are never very emotionally driven. Of course there's a story, and of course it's touching when she turns into the ogre at the end, but it's still grounded in comedy. It's not dramatic in the same sense that Disney or Pixar tend to live in those places.
They pioneered some 3D rendering techniques during this as well. So, like
the humans,
they get credit for that.
And it looks, they do get credit. It was kind of fun going back. Like some of that stuff was pretty crude, and I liked the way it looked. Like crude in the sense that humans are hard. And they were doing humans, you know, pretty early on. And there were you could tell some like basic models that they were using to put in like crowd scenes and stuff, and it lended itself well to the humor and the charm of this movie. So I liked it. I think I don't want to say anything yet. I'll say it at the end of the episode, but I had a great time, and I had totally forgotten how much, not just Smash Mouth at the beginning, how many like pop songs are in this movie.
I'm a believer. It's
I don't give a damn. I'm a reputation. I forgot about the gladiator scene.
Is it time to vote?
There's definitely so much more to. I also love all the Duloc shit. I love every single. I love Welcome to Duloc. What a way of introducing. What an expository like fun.
Funky town.
And then it finishes with the photo of Shrek. I mean, all of it, the slang of every single thing about it is just so great. And honestly, I kind of like all of them. I kind of like all the Shreks, to be honest with you. I like the second one. I like Shrek the third.
It made me want to watch 2. I don't think I ever saw 3.
2 is great.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's 2 is even better than 1.
You might be right.
Maybe,
but and I kept going.
Maybe, but it's also so good because it was set up for success. You know what I mean?
It's the Godfather of animation movies. Is that what we're saying?
Well, it's like a comedy series, like The Office that was good in season 1.
Godfather of animation.
And then you can say this was good. Let's double down on that in 2, and then they actually did that. You know, this is great.
Let's vote.
All right, so let's talk it out, because I feel like these movies are so different. We didn't love Mission Impossible 2, but it is a great summer blockbuster movie, especially for its time. This
Fuck
movie,
that bullshit. I'm Shrek all the way.
All right, John, you and I.
You know what? I think I might be an outlier here. I'm going Mission Impossible.
Fuck!
I know people who listen to this episode might think
what's Emilio Estevez's character's name?
Yeah, sure. I know everybody thinks that, but y'all, honestly, I went into my rewatches this week like thinking, of course it's Shrek. MI2 isn't a good Mission Impossible movie. I'm not criticizing Shrek.
But
I was less.
Quick story.
Hold on. But I was less blown away in my rewatch of Shrek than I anticipated. Maybe in my head I built it up too much, but I was a little underwhelmed when I rewatched Shrek compared to how impressed I was by how much I enjoyed rewatching MI2. It just kind of shook me. I was just like, I thought I was going to hate that, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought I was going to love Shrek, and I liked a lot of it. I really, really loved a lot of it. But there were certain parts that didn't blow me away as much as I wanted them to. So Jeff, come at me, dude. What are you doing?
You're going to break this. But one thing, I have to tell a quick...
Mission Impossible 2! I have
to tell a quick Mission Impossible story. When they go to the horse racing, You see a bunch of horse races, and one of them is C. Brown. That's my fucking cousin.
The horse?
No,
Your horse?
the jockey.
Wait.
The jockey is my cousin.
Serious? How did you not say that?
How did that not come up in our conversation about it?
Yeah.
Oh God,
I don't know if they just put
funny.
the pants on him or the stock footage or what. We haven't mentioned, like he hasn't mentioned to me that he was in it because we haven't talked in years.
He rides a horse.
Yeah.
He's fucking little.
Yeah.
All right,
If anyone ever
Jeff.
finds this podcast from my family, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
All right, fuck
Jeff,
you
I
guys.
thought I was going to be the outlier. I thought you were going Shrek.
no, because
for sure.
You're the decider, Jeff.
So I've seen Shrek a lot, and in my rewatch too, I caught myself kind of looking around and stuff. So this is tricky, and
Exactly, dude.
Well,
I was really
hold on.
I'm kind of bored.
No, I wasn't bored, but I've seen it a lot. So I also wanted to have some respect for that because I have not seen. If I had seen Mission Impossible,
Bored's a strong word.
if I had seen Mission Impossible 2 as much as I've seen Shrek, I would have been a little bored by Mission Impossible 2 because I've seen Shrek 10 times. And Mission Impossible, this was my second or third. This is my third time. I was watching Mission Impossible 2, and like a Bond movie, the yucks got me. I liked seeing the sunglasses. This will self-destruct in 5, 4, and he's like cool, and he throws it, and it blows up, and it goes into the title scroll. I liked that. I liked the summer movie feel of Mission Impossible. Shrek doesn't feel like a summer movie to me. And so I know this is just kind of like what is the best movie, and it's not supposed to be just specifically what is the best summer movie. Like I don't think Empire beat.
We are
Raiders
talking
of the
about
Lost
summer blockbusters. So
Oh, I thought we are doing that. That's kind of how I'm framing it too.
summer
Like, what do I want to
blockbuster,
put? I
dude.
get a large popcorn, large drink. I'm with my friends.
No,
We're
it is.
going to
No.
watch a blockbuster. at a
We
movie
have been
theater.
doing that the whole time. But yeah, I feel like I voted with John every time, and I can't wait to fucking break this. But
you'll
I'm
get buzzed
seriously
in
going
5
with,
seconds.
I'm seriously going with Mission Impossible 2. I really am. I really think it's a better summer movie. I'm sorry. I watched Shrek and I was like, it just doesn't feel like a summer movie. Out of all the,
I feel the same way.
out of all
dude.
the animated movies, it just doesn't feel as much like a like if I'm with kids at the lake, like my friends' kids, and we pop on the movie. There are other better summer animated movies than that one. That's what I think. Mission Impossible 2.
I think
people.
I agree, dude.
Damn it.
Obviously, I agree.
Damn
Dave,
it.
look, we're totally anyone
You
who
know
says
what? It's
Shrek. I'm not
personal
going to hold it
choice.
against
It's
you at
personal
all.
choice. There's 3 of us. That's why there's 3 of us.
Shrek might endure as the better movie. It's spurred a musical. It's successful.
I'm going to say it again though. I think 2, I remember more fondly than 1. Because I let 2 just continue.
I
It was just kind of
not.
playing. I got up and kept watching it. And immediately, I was kind of laughing a lot more.
I like the beginning of
Anyway.
1, and I like the heist of Langley, but I don't remember the rest.
I will say I enjoy.
The Bournes are better.
I enjoyed 2 more than I did the first time I
Also,
saw
my
it.
Shrek.
This rewatch, but yeah.
Whatever. All right, people.
All right, folks.
We got to move on. We can't
Wow.
live in this here. Fucking somehow Raiders of the Lost Ark is out, but Mission Impossible 2 is on. Ghostbusters,
Damn.
you got nothing on MI2. Here we go, people. We have to take a very, 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 very short break, and then we are going to pit 2002's Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire, oh my God, Spider-Man, up against Finding Nemo. Holy shit, let's go.
It's gonna get ugly.
Yeah.
And we're back, people. Let's go. 2002's Spider-Man against 2003's Finding Nemo. I gotta turn my AC off.
Oh.
Shit, my AC. And the
No,
rain just
leave it.
started.
It's fine. No one can hear it.
And well, you can on Zoom, but my fancy
No,
audio.
no,
here
we
is recording
can't.
it.
I trust me. I process the fuck out of this audio.
Guys, thank you to Dave for doing that. Actually, it honestly doesn't matter because it's pouring so much on my AC unit right now. It just started.
Oh, it's not raining here yet, and
Oh.
I'm literally across the river.
Well,
So
talk to
stand
me
by
in
for
5
my
minutes.
noise.
All right, 2002 Spider-Man against 2003's Finding Nemo. We're, of course, going to start with 2002, going in order here. John, you want to tell us what was going on in 2002? What movies made some money?
Sorry, my dogs are fighting.
You told them not
Attack
to.
of the Clones. Star Wars, we already talked about the first one, Attack of the Clones. I texted my co-host because I was like, is it Spider-Man or Attack of the Clones? okay.
Yeah.
So that came in at number 2, released in May, so technically the summer. Number 3 of the year,
I like
because we mentioned it in the first half of this episode. Yeah, sure. Me too. Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Also,
that was John
just like
being
with Fellowship.
dismissive as fuck.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that one is good.
Yeah.
So the second Lord of the Rings installation comes in pretty safely for the numbers domestic at number 3 for the year, but it was released in December, so it doesn't count. And that beats I wanted to mention it just because that beats for the domestic markets, that beat the second Harry Potter, which safely was above Lord of the Rings in the previous year. So Harry Potter, the Chamber of Secrets, the second installment, for me, according to the numbers, which also, just like the previous year, came out in November, Lord of the Rings came out in December, is number 4 for the year, right behind Lord of the Rings. So continuing on from there, another M. Night. We got Signs, Mr. Shyamalan, just cranking him out. He's in his fucking prime.
There's a lot of disparaging comments about that one.
I want to call this one out just because Jeff loves this movie and quotes it a lot.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Austin Powers,
hell yeah.
Gold
right.
member.
I love Gold.
Top 10. I love Gold. Oh, blimey. Look at him. He's a tripod. I'm fucking Michael Caine, and that guy's a fucking tripod. We got fucking Men in Black 2. Ice Age, another, I think, SKG, DreamWorks. Die Another Day, Scooby-Doo, Lilo and Snitch. Wow, Jesus. Minority Report, another massive Tom Cruise endeavor there.
That's a good one.
It's top 20. That is a good one. But for the numbers for domestic, it only came in at 16. One of my favorite early 2000s horror movies, when the horror genre was starting to really beef back up. I think this movie was one of the tips of the spears, The Ring.
Oh, fuck yeah. I have that on my list here.
Yeah, dude. I really, it came out right before Halloween. It's third week in October.
So many nightmares. The Image, I saw her face.
I had to have a drink after you mentioned The Ring. Like, that's how bad that movie was. It was great.
I love that movie. I watched it last year with my brother and Elizabeth. It's fucking fantastic.
Oh my God.
We got to give it up for this one because I can't believe that it did not go higher than it did. It came out in the summer, sitting safely at number 20th, The Bourne Identity. Can you believe that? Yeah. This was the first Bourne movie, and it didn't get higher than that. That's fucking amazing to me. But Bourne Identity, number 20.
Sounds good.
Then we have some... We had some of All Fears, 8 Mile, great, Black Hawk Down,
no one had faith
Road to Perdition, Catch Me If You Can, Panic Room, Red Dragon, Scorpion King. Jeff, give us some. Oh my God,
Scorpion King, the worst CGI in the world.
Dave.
That movie introduced Dwayne The Rock Johnson to the cinema, Dave. Are you kidding me? Come on.
A monster.
Yeah, and his CGI model was not good.
I can't keep buzzing you. So this is 2002. That's Paramount's 90th anniversary. That's right. Paramount's been around for now more than 100 years.
Wow.
Spider-Man as the first movie to make $100 million in the opening weekend. They talk about that in Entourage, the series. It would become the highest grossing superhero movie of all time. And Attack of the Clones was the first Star Wars movie to not top the annual box office. It wasn't even in the top 4 worldwide, even if you account for extra years and stuff.
Star Wars movie not to bomb in week 2.
I can't keep buzzing. There you go. John's got it.
Yeah, give him a buzz for that.
Attack of the Clones worldwide would actually be number 4 at the box office with $656 million worldwide, which is not what they were expecting. Oscars was fun this year. So this is a crazy year. So Chicago wins Best Picture. Roman Polanski, who was not allowed in America, wins Best Director for The Pianist.
For good reason.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. He beats Martin Scorsese for Gangs in New York, Steven Spielberg for Catch Me If You Can, and Rob Marshall for Chicago, who won, Best Picture. Yeah. So fucking heated Best Director category there. Adrian Brody beats Daniel Day-Lewis and Jack Nicholson at the Oscars. He wins for The Pianist. He's in his 20s. Nicole Kidman wins Best Actress for The Hours in a very small amount of screen time because there were 3 different chapters in that movie. It's a fantastic film. And she beats Renee Zellweger and Julianne Moore, who was in Far From Heaven. Of course, Renee Zellweger for Chicago. Chris Cooper wins for adaptation in a fucking awesome. He was so good in adaptation, him and Meryl Streep. And he beats Christopher Walken in Catch Me If You Can, who won a bunch of awards, including SAG, and I believe he also won the BAFTA. Screenplay goes to The Pianist, believe it or not, and Talk to Her by Pedro Almodovar. Pedro Almodovar is an Oscar winner, and for writing a screenplay, which, by the way, was not written in the English language. So kudos to the Oscars for having some goddamn respect. Michael Moore famously wins Best Documentary for Bowling for Columbine and says out loud in 2002, Mr. Bush, President Bush, we do not support your war. And he gets booed, even though he had prepped with every Hollywood celebrity, Sean Penn, Denzel, all the Hollywood celebrities. He said, I'm going to do this. And they said, do it. And he does it, and he still gets booed at the Oscars. But What aged well, the booing or Michael Moore saying we shouldn't invade Iraq and Afghanistan? Shout out. And he literally was like, he knew when he did that. He was like, I'll never come back again. There you go.
Take that as your fucking will.
Famously, Lose Yourself by Eminem wins Best Oscar.
You can delete it or you can face facts.
Lose Yourself wins Best Oscar, but isn't allowed to perform at the ceremony until years later. Mom Spaghetti and Frida wins Best Score. Shout out. I'm just going to be very quick here. Jason X comes out this year. People, the drunkest we've ever been on this podcast.
Oh my God, yes.
None. Our Halloween episode 2020.
The one podcast of ours you cannot find on Facebook because it was pulled.
That's right.
Jeff ate a 3-course meal in the midst of that podcast.
I ate it during the movie I didn't watch, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Orange County was where I met Jack Black. That came out this year. Okay.
Orange County, yeah.
Slackers. Collateral Damage. Super Troopers. The people who like funny movies. Dragonfly. The Time Machine remake with Guy Pearce comes out this year. Ali G into House kicks off.
I like that.
The career of a famous British actor.
Elements in Time Machine.
Panic Room.
Yeah.
Panic Room's
The
good.
Rookie.
Panic Room is an awesome fucking one-er.
Yeah.
Like
My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
One-er. Yeah.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding becomes actually a hugely successful comedy that ended up spawning a series. Unfaithful, About a Boy, the Scooby-Doo movie. Lilo and Stitch didn't do as well as a lot of the other animated movies leading up to it, but still pretty famous movie. Mr. Deeds, Adam Sandler. Another fucking Crocodile Hunter movie. Collision Course. Halloween Resurrection comes out in July. That makes sense. Road to Permission, Eight-Legged Freaks, Goldmember you mentioned, John. Triple X, 1 Hour Photo. Igby Goes Down, featuring future Emmy winner Kieran Culkin.
Triple X.
I will say
Secretary
this
Drumline, 8 Crazy Nights, Hot Chicks,
finally
and
they're
the
releasing
25th
horror
Hour.
movies at Halloween. So
The Transporter. What a year.
Do you guys think
2002.
the listeners can discern what we're saying when we all talk at the same time?
yes, we're
Yes.
actually
Dave puts us in a
isolating
room.
the stereo
Dave,
channel.
that's right. Yeah,
So,
Dave put us in the channel
yeah.
so he can set us in the room. It's good. Listen with your best audio
Everyone
for
who's
people.
listening, you can pan left, right, or
That's
center.
for all of us.
You can pan
That's
left.
for all three of
you
us.
can pan left.
How hoity-toity do we sound?
Dickhead. You can pan left, right, or center
John
depending on who
Buzz
you want to listen to.
All right, enough of this bullshit. We got to talk about Spider-Man. He really did that tray set practically on 100 and whatever takes. Dave.
He really did. It was
talk to me.
156 takes it took him to do that tray set. It was sped up, but he did catch it practically.
And? What'd you think? Did you rewatch?
I didn't because I've seen this so many fucking times.
All right, so it's not fresh. Go ahead.
No, this almost had
Okay.
Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in it, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh, unnecessary, but fun.
They couldn't get the costume because apparently the costume was missing, so they cut the Wolverine scene. They also lost
owned both.
Yeah,
both of them?
they
Is that
also
why?
lost 4 spider suits. Someone stole them from the set of this movie. So they had a real problem with the costume
I
department.
think they're in
of this
Tobey
movie.
Maguire's sex dungeon.
Yeah, right.
I think
my
we know where
God.
they are, you
Yeah.
guys.
He's hanging upside down, just like, no, really? No one's gonna buzz me for that.
Sure. Just to be polite. Yeah, there you go. Jesus, come on. That kiss struck a chord.
That kiss,
really did.
that kiss is iconic. I will say, like, not only that, like the
when I was watching it this time, I was like, "This is beautiful," but it really took on a life of its own when that movie came out. It was everywhere.
Well,
But
also-
this before memes.
But
Yeah,
it was also like a filmmaking thing. Like he's got water pouring up his fucking nose. That was not a comfortable shot to do.
As Elizabeth said, she does all the work though.
Oh my
Kirsten
God,
Dunst is really doing all the kissing and that.
Tobey Maguire's holding his fucking breath. He's got water pouring down his nose.
He's breathing out through his nose and saying, "You got to ADR this. I don't want water coming in." Like when you're like when you flip in water and you have to blow out your nose.
Also, Willem Defoe did most of his own stunts and was also in the suit most of the time.
And that laugh is still haunting me.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, if they had any other person playing Goblin in that movie, it might not have worked as well. But
does it make it crazier to know how big his penis is?
Jesus. We should gush that.
No,
I'm giving him a...
Oh, Jesus. No, don't gush. Don't do
Waterfall.
Do
for
not
my King's
associate
Cup
gush
fans,
with
the
penis
drinking games
size.
kids.
Yo, I got to see one time
His
at
penis?
BAM in New York. Jesus. The Brooklyn Academy of Music does a lot of really wonderful theater and live performance in New York City. And I got to see Willem Dafoe and Marishnikov in this absurd avant-garde theater piece where they were both clowns and there was dialogue as well, and it was fucking haunting. And Willem, he can take these maniacal characters into this really weird special theatrical place, and I think he just that same I just kept thinking about that performance when I was rewatching this.
Just saying,
he really brought it.
I'm not getting in a van with the guy is pretty much what we're saying here. It's like
there was a firefight. Oh, God damn it! Was Boondock Saints the year before this, or did you just read it off of this list?
Year before.
2001. The Willem Defoe Renaissance, right? I feel like he kind of really exploded back into our
there is some stuff that's like Sam Raimi used in this film where it was like it's still referred to as the spider cam, but it was not independently used.
It's 99. Well, it must have come out in 2000. I don't know. Whatever.
It was not independently used as like for Spider-Man. So like the camera technique where he's swinging, they actually filmed, and and like inserted him into that sort of thing. So
what?
Yeah.
How did they film that?
It's a like a motion capture camera that it's a camera that is available to swing. I guess.
Oh, yeah, that looked really good. I mean, yeah, you got to give it up just for people who are like establishing rules for major franchises where it's going to become part of the language that people play with for what movie are we on now?
Yeah.
The 8th?
Yeah. I mean,
Spider-Man
they replaced it with CG, but like from like,
but they're probably still replicating the way it looked, right?
Yeah. But like he set the tone.
Yeah. There's some good Sam Raimi too, folks.
Yeah.
The Evil Dead man, right? Like he's more known in that horror space and genre space before taking this on. And it really is hard to imagine. I made the X-Men comment for last year or 2000. And now this, it's hard to think of, but superhero movies were still fairly niche. They still happened, but they were not dominant the way that they are now. And for Sam Raimi, somebody who is a known director, to take on something like this, it was kind of special at the time. And I think he exceeded everybody's expectations.
Yeah.
This ended up just being so incredibly successful and critically acclaimed. That's kind of also really unique and special, and why it transcended the superhero genre. It also gave us
like J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, who carried on into the modern Marvel universe. Like he was so good they kept him.
Is J.K. Simmons is he one of the best actors we have right now of finding that point of view, finding that specific point, and just fucking nailing it?
Yeah, I've seen him in many, many things. He might be one of the best actors we have today.
No, for sure. He has incredible range, but he also knows his role and doesn't have to prove his range every time. This character, he hits it, he finds that fucking nail, and he hits it dead into the spot every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah. The humor, the camp. That second scene with him where he's hiring Tobey Maguire.
Cocaine. He lives in Hollywood. So.
Oh my God, you guys! I'm like dying. The scene where he's like hiring and firing. You know, give me the pictures. No, I don't want them. I'll give you 300. Get out of here. Yeah, give me the pictures. Just that the comedic sense is just fucking perfect. Yeah, he's great. What do you say about this movie, though, you guys? I feel like for a long time we looked at this and X-Men as like, that's how you make a superhero movie. And then, you know, Nolan came in and turned it away from the camp into a very heightened, grounded realism. And I think it kind of changed the way we thought of these things. But so in a way, like that's these Spider-Man movies...
You cannot compare DC to Marvel. They are two different things. Like DC is...
You know, people say that all the time, but to the average layperson...
DC is notoriously darker. Always.
I guess that's true.
Because they establish the dark side of the character every time. Like Marvel doesn't. And when they do, it gets kind of responded to like, oh, that's not cool.
Did anybody else laugh on their rewatch? Dave, you didn't watch it, so I guess Jeff. Did you laugh?
I've seen a lot.
I forgot when James Franco first came on screen. I just started laughing.
Yeah, me too. God. When he's like, Dad, we're pulling up in a Rolls Royce to the museum. Come on. It's funny too, because, you know, Look, I'm not ageist. I'm very also I was on my alma mater's campus, which was really fun because I was not allowed on my own campus when I went to grad school there because
I forgot it was all over Columbia. Dude. I totally forgot that.
And the quote unquote like museum or whatever they went to is literally like an office building that like looks. It used to be a library, this whole domed structure, but it's like nobody goes in there. But it's funny because that was like they were like it's as if that was now a research lab or something. But they were like, Dad, we're pulling up to the middle of Columbia's campus in a Rolls Royce. I'm not ageist, but it's so funny because he looks like he's 25 and like he's obviously playing down a little bit. So I did laugh a little bit.
Dude.
Having said that, it's still an iconic like part of our childhood, and yes, now that we've seen Peter Parker as an actual teenager, we know like, well, James Franco's. Can you imagine James Franco as the fucking as the Osborn to
Hobgoblin?
to God damn it, what's his name? Uncharted, Tom Holland. Can you imagine him? Like, can you imagine the two of them together? Like, that made me laugh more than anything else. Is like him being in high school with that high school. But
in saying that, there's a reason that Spider-Man is the most responsive Marvel character. Like, every time you throw Spider-Man in the mix, it's like everyone is on board.
It's so grounded and real. It's so relatable. You said there was a reason.
I feel like they nailed it from the beginning. It's like Tobey Maguire was good in the first two.
Yeah.
Caught that, huh?
You didn't like the Dark Spider-Man? Yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah, no one's gonna forgive emo Spider-Man, but
keep going.
But yeah, like it was just it was good casting. It was great effects. Like the effects people really nailed the whole thing, and I feel like it cemented Spider-Man for a generation, moving on to 100%. Tom Holland.
Yeah. Okay,
it also,
Dave,
in a very real...
Dave, are you being sneaky again?
What?
There were two Spider-Mans before Tom Holland.
There were, but Andrew Garfield is fucking awesome.
Okay, good. I liked it. Yeah, good. I liked it.
I like those. Those are two of my favorite movies. Those two.
I thought he was awesome too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this movie also like...
And then I saw all three of them together and I cried. A little.
Yeah. Doing the Spider-Man memes and stuff. Why are you buzzing him? Come on, he's James being vulnerable.
You know, I didn't care for that movie.
Either of them? Oh yeah, me and you similar.
Long Way Home or whatever. When all three of them were on screen, I was like, I gotta walk out of this movie.
It was a trauma off. Who had
John
more
doesn't
trauma?
even know the title. It's like, you know what? Fuck it.
Guys, we are so far over our segment. Fucking.
Yeah, we did.
I just want to say, I feel like this movie did a pretty. As somebody who's not a comic book reader, this movie looked like a comic book while still being accessible to somebody who doesn't need it to look and feel that way. Like watching it again, like the way the aesthetic, the production design, the way that they talked, it almost like you could see the word bubbles. It's almost like
I will give you. They did
the voiceover
helped
too. The voiceover helped too. Who am I? You really want to know? I feel like and Spider-Verse kind of took the voiceover and ran, and they set this up really well.
Yeah.
Danny Elfman's score I think helped too. Sorry, John.
They've done better since, but yeah, this was definitely a summer blockbuster.
Bonesaw is ready.
Oh my god!
Okay,
dude,
yeah, all right,
please?
fair, yeah,
You're
fair.
going nowhere.
We're all getting that. We all agree.
That was so.
I got you for 3
funny,
minutes.
dude.
Even the exposition is funny.
That was so good. Oh, I laughed.
I definitely have friends in high school
for that.
I definitely have friends in high school that sawed their arm like Bonesaw, like sawed their arm.
Yeah. That was so fucking good. I want to ask a question. Damn it! I tried to write down.
How good is it for Toby that the way it works, he could have stopped the robber, but he wanted to get the revenge on the guy, and that's the robber who kills Uncle Ben. I don't know if that's how it is in the comic books, but like as a kid to see where it's kind of his fault. I mean, God, man, that was fucking crushing. And then he goes, that was ham. Crushing. Like, that was really great.
It made sense. Yeah, it was really good. It's good. It's a really strong origin tale. Just to pick on it a little bit, just because I thought this was funny. He stayed up all night,
not eating the meatloaf,
becoming a great sketch artist because he drew the shit out of that costume.
Oh yeah.
But then we see him in that wrestling match with not the costume, right? With his like first attempt.
Human spider. That's the best he got, kid.
Why did they cut out the all-nighter where he stays up learning how to sew? So we can see him. I mean, that suit is fucking perfect. He goes from like that thing he wore with like a toboggan with like eyes cut out of it.
Yeah, did he go he went to the fashion district. He went to the he went to Mrs. Maisel and he got some fabric.
So silly,
right,
but it's
so
still fun.
moving
I still
on.
had a blast watching it. Yeah, really
All
good.
right, people. Finally, to wrap this up, we're gonna hit this. Oh my god, this is so much harder. God damn, I actually think both.
Oh, God.
I think both these movies would have won in the last
We're moving
category.
on
to be honest with you.
I did too.
2003
Fish are
Finding
friends,
Nemo.
not food.
Dave, back to Australia for you. Let's go. 2003
yeah.
Finding Nemo. Pixar's, is this number 5 or 6 now? Movie. I'm going to take a look really quick before I pass it over to John. Monsters, Inc. was 4. Finding Nemo is number 5. I saw this in theaters, man. Did you guys see this in theaters?
Yeah.
John?
Oh yeah.
Okay, John,
For
what,
sure.
what else
Yeah,
happened in 2003?
So the big one, again, folks, we're just saying these things, and you got to get a picture of like where we're moving into with the 2000s and 10s. Another gigantic franchise launched, a little Disney venture based on one of its theme park rides called Pirates of the Caribbean. That came out, and for me, according to the numbers, that's number 2. So it also came out in the summer, and
Domestic
I saw
Finding
that.
Nemo still beat it. But
At a 3-session show at the theater in Australia, and it was like the first one was like I think it was Scary Movie 3, which was great. And it's still one of my favorites of the franchise of that. And then they showed Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm like, yeah, we'll sleep through the first one, and we'll.
No, it's good, man.
And then Pirates came out. I'm like, fucking hell, this is awesome.
Yeah, it was
They
cool.
really did.
Yeah.
Johnny
Gore
Depp won.
Verbinski made a very good movie.
I think Johnny Depp won the SAG Award for acting in this weird Disney movie based on a ride. Like, how fucking crazy is that? All right,
Yeah.
John,
A lot
what
of
else?
people
It
did.
was great. Number 3,
He's turned
safely.
up at the ride, by the way.
Yeah. Oh,
Randomly.
really?
Yeah.
Jesus. Number 3 is the final installment of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Return of the King. What an amazing 3 years
Yeah.
I had when I was in fucking middle school and high school.
Oh,
God, that was
Jesus.
incredible. Boom, boom, boom. Christmas. And then we have a not so as successful. Let's see. Which one was Matrix Reloaded? That was the third
No,
one.
second.
So
Revolutions is.
Was it really?
Revolutions is the one, yeah.
Wow, that many years passed between the first one and the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 years.
Well, they filmed them back to back,
Anyway,
so it took
They had to
forever.
wait for the technology to catch up.
They should have waited. Should have waited longer. Come on, that multiple
fair,
Smiths,
fair.
100 Smiths.
No,
Rough.
I played the video game and it was better. But
Actually, Revolutions also came out in 2003. Who gives a shit? Whatever.
I'm a big fan of the Matrix trilogy. Of course, I'm saying that with love.
Yeah.
All right, we have Bruce Almighty, X-Men 2, which for me, X2.
that's the ultimate.
I loved the first
It is the
X-Men. X2,
ultimate.
that opening, get the fuck out of here. That
Yeah.
opening to X2 at the White House with Nightcrawler, that is fucking
100%.
awesome.
X2 is brilliant. Yeah.
Talk about a great. That also came out in the summer, folks. This is a good year. Elf, hey, Christmas number 7.
Fuck that guy.
You got to talk
No,
about
he's
that for
great.
sure. We got a Terminator in there. We got Bad Boys 2. They waited quite a while to make that sequel.
Good one, though.
Anger Management.
Yeah, Jack almost retired after that.
Hulk, Fast 2, Furious, the second, and that SWAT. What else we got? Freaky Friday, Scary Movie 3. Dave, you talked about it. The Italian Job, the remake of the classic 60s
If anyone
movie.
has access to it, watch the special features for Scary Movie 3. The alternate ending is ridiculously funny.
Silly stuff.
Yeah.
The Italian Job gave birth to the Mini Coupe resurgence here in the West. I think everybody went out and bought one of those little fucking cars after that. Daredevil. Not Marvel's best foot forward.
Yeah.
After the success of.
We're both going with that.
All right. Unfortunate, but it is what it is.
It fucking sucked.
Jesus.
Sure. Jeff, why don't you give us some context here? I just want to shout out one of my favorite movies that came out this year, Kill Bill Volume 1.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's,
We also talked about
kinda
that
goes
movie
without
in there.
saying. And I think Magnolia. Yeah, sure. Did Magnolia come out in 2001 as well?
2001, yeah, but we're on 2003, so this,
I mean, excuse me, 2003. Sorry.
Magnolia came
Yeah,
out
I'm
in
off.
1999. 2003 was that Punch Drunk Love?
Samsonite.
Punch Drunk Love was 2002. Okay, so we're fucking way off. You know what? Forget everything we said.
We're way off. Keep going.
Let's
Talk,
keep going.
Jeff.
2003. So obviously, Return of the King wins 1 million Oscars. Also, this was only the second movie ever to break $1 billion at the box office, after, of course, Titanic. If you look at the worldwide box office, regardless of when the movie was made, if it bled into the other year, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King made $1.1 billion. Finding Nemo made $936 million worldwide. I mean, that is a ton of money for this fucking animated movie. Matrix Reloaded 738 and Pirates 654. So we are now like the 90s were an awesome year for movies, but the numbers are doubling. Very quickly, the numbers started to double right here. Return of the King went 11 for 11 at the Oscars, winning Best Picture, Director, basically every single effects award, except, and this is one of my favorite things about the Oscars for the Lord of the Rings movies. The Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring won for best cinematography. Obviously, it's one of the most it's the most stunningly shot series to date at this point for sure. And then it was never even nominated again. So it went 11 for 11 at the Oscars, but it didn't win best cinematography because it wasn't even fucking nominated. How could it not even be nominated? It doesn't make any sense. I know there were other huge movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, like Matrix, but and The Last Samurai and shit. But how the fuck was it not nominated for best cinematography? It doesn't make any sense. Charlize Theron wins for Monster, and believe it or not, Scarlett Johansson won some secondary awards, as did Diane Keaton for Something's Gotta Give. Scarlett Johansson, of course, for Lost in Translation. Sean Penn and Tim Robbins both win acting awards for Mystic River. That's Clint Eastwood's Mystic River this year. Is my daughter in there? Johnny Depp was nominated. Bill Murray also lost. He won some other awards. And Bill Nighy won the BAFTA for supporting actor for Love Actually. How random is that? Renee Zellweger.
No, that's appropriate. That's appropriate.
And
I feel it in
he won the
my
BAFTA.
toes.
The BAFTAs are fucking cool. Renee Zellweger does a straight up clean sweep, won every single imaginable award for Cold Mountain. Screenplay Rings beats American Splendor and In America for adapted screenplay, and Lost in Translation. Sofia Coppola gets the win over Station Agent. School of Rock is Richard. I'm drunk. What's his name? Linklater's highest grossing movie to date. School of Rock with Jack Black. Shout out. Elf comes out this year. The Recruit, Shanghai Nights, Daredevil, you said. Old School, Anger Management, you said. Holes, Identity. Bruce Almighty, I think you said. Italian Job, Too Fast, Too Furious. Let's go. We're off and running.
45 seconds to talk about this movie.
From Justin to Kelly comes out this year. Shout out American Idol.
Let's go over. Fuck him.
Hulk, 28 Days Later. We got that sequel. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. I should say that Drew Barrymore party, Lucy Liu was there. So I was there with 2 of the 3 angels at this birthday party. American Wedding brings the conclusion of the American Pie series. Gigli comes out this year. Shout out to Ben and Jen Benifer. Freddy versus Jason. Jason X wasn't enough. They decided to keep going. Party Monster tries to get Macaulay Culkin back in the game with Seth Green. Does not do particularly well. Cult classic for some very strange people. Matchstick Men. Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel. Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers. What a weird year for Mike Myers. Gothic. The Haunting Mansion. Last Samurai, I think you said. House of Santa Fog. Big Fish. Paycheck. Let's go. 2003. Finding Nemo. I definitely did the rewatch and it was fucking fun. Happy to go back to Australia. I'm going to drink as I pass it up to you. Dave, what did you think? You got 54 seconds.
Fuck that shit. We're going over. Finding Nemo is... I mean, this was a movie that was recorded once without the Australian accents and then re-recorded with the Australian accents.
How did they even consider putting a movie that ends in Australia without Australian accents? The Australian turtle is one of the coolest characters in fucking animated history. I don't give a shit.
Dude, the tortoise that is used in Crunch, I think he is. Crush.
150, dude. Still young.
He's still used at Disney as the precursor for the ride.
That's Andrew. Right. That's Andrew Stanton, the director.
But in the Disney ride, it's not. It's someone doing it live.
Righteous.
No, like look up on YouTube. Okay, everybody go to YouTube and look up Crush the Turtle, and you will find an amazing amount of shit these performers have put forward as this turtle, like to general members of the public. It's amazing. Like they have taken down some people ridiculously. I love that the idea for the whole thing came from Andrew Stanton's childhood memory of a fish tank in his family dentist's office.
I mean, why should it be more complicated than that?
Great.
Why should it be more complicated? That's how.
That's really good.
Because like I get it. The dentist traumatized me too, but it's like he came to the assumption that all fish in tanks were from the ocean and wanted to go home, and that led to this movie. It's That's like awesome. Your dentist visit led to this fucking movie.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I think. Sorry, Lily, stop it. I think this is.
Anyone called Lily who's listening, he's not talking to you.
That's right. It's my dog. Guys, I think this is a perfect film.
Oh my god,
it's pretty cool.
I think this is one of the best movies Pixar's ever made, and I think Pixar has made some of the best movies ever made. Like, I know they're animated and they're aimed at children, but you know what? If I'm being totally honest, like, my experience rewatching Shrek versus my experience rewatching this, they're not trying to do the same thing, so I don't want to compare them in that sense. But just for me personally, what stands the test of time, what equals greatness, this has everything. It is so emotionally compelling. Yeah. It's funny. It's captivating. The structure is fantastic. There's drama. There's action. There's so much wonderful humor. There are characters that are very memorable, very quotable, that have stood, all these tests of time. We still talk about this movie it happened yesterday.
You don't know why they stood the test of time? Because, like, the animators spent weeks studying marine life and underwater environments, and like just for the sand, they created an ocean environment and froze it.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thomas Newman wrote an incredible score.
Oh, yeah.
Albert Brooks and Ellen DeGeneres, everyone involved just fucking crushed the performances.
How lucky
and it's
are we
just so emotional. I teared up like 3 times watching this movie this past time. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it was always one of my favorite Pixar's, and I just can't say it enough. Like, for me, this is just, it's like Toy Story when we were trying to have that debate over which is the best one. It's like, I don't know, they're all so fantastic. It's kind of hard to criticize them. So I loved it. Jeff, did you rewatch it?
Sure. John, gosh. I did rewatch it. I expected to just sort of like put it on in the background. Guys,
Willem Dafoe as Gil.
Willem Dafoe is basically playing his platoon character, but as a fish in a fish
hello to
tank.
your dad for me, Shark Bait.
No.
Cried. Tears.
It
just
takes one to know one, right, with the fin. So I'm looking at the list of Pixar movies. You got all the Toy Stories, A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc. You have the more actiony movies like Cars and The Incredibles. You've got the movies that are so obviously emotional, like WALL-E and Up and Inside Out and Coco. You've got the fun movies, like The Good Dinosaur and Ratatouille and stuff, and they're all emotional. Finding Nemo is without a doubt my favorite Pixar movie. I remember seeing it in theaters, and I just went on a whim.
Right up there.
I was like, let's go. I was in high school. It's like, I'm going to see an animated movie in the theaters, and it fucking knocked me out. I agree with you. It's a perfect movie. It just doesn't really get much better than this. I tried to make a list of all the reasons that I thought it would be, and it really comes down to the structure is perfect, but also the characters. I mean, when you do an animated comedy like this, every single character. Ellen DeGeneres in this role is absolutely perfect. Jeffrey Rush as the seagull is perfect. You just talked about Willem Dafoe. Crush the turtle with the little mini guy is
Barry
perfect.
Humphries as the shark. I imitated that guy at work for 5 years.
Hello. And the way he says it,
nobody got it. Everyone was like, "Good morning." I was like, "Hello."
I'm having fish tonight. Like, everything. Darla, the fish killer.
Friends, not food.
The charade fish, the fish that have like the sad clownfish and turn him into a happy clownfish. You have the singing manta ray explorer scientist guy. You have the box jellyfish. You have the seagulls that yell mine. You have the montages with the lobsters with Boston accents that go like, "Hey, Mike," as they're walking by. You've got the swordfish fencing. You've got the dolphins who only talk about the water.
The crab.
The tiki initiation thing, which is weird. The fucking whale.
That is one of Australia's leading talk show hosts. Was doing that role.
I mean, brilliant. Yeah. The deep sea fish with the light.
Robert McManus was doing that role.
The deep sea fish with the light. I mean, and then you have lines like this. How do you know when they're ready? This is to Crush. Well, you never really know, but when they know, you'll know, And if you really think about it, you're like, holy shit. That's one of the most profound things that's ever been said in a movie.
Guys,
this movie is so good.
I mentioned it on the show, I think, at some point last year, but I also read Creative Inc., which is kind of the history of Pixar, and really
film school sounds fun, by the way.
Sorry,
film school sounds fun, by the way.
Film school sounds fun. When they talk about at one point, whenever Andrew Stanton pitched this, like everybody got the goosebumps. They were like, "That sounds wonderful." This story about this father who
should
loses,
have
he blacks out and
100
loses his entire family.
babies and has one. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
His entire family except for one is gone. But the basic story is just that. Think about that. Just that premise of how mythological and quest driven this is. This is about a father.
It's a quest, right?
Who has to find his son so he can let his son go. I mean, that's just like
there's a
life,
whole.
right? I mean, it's just like fucking.
It's the Odyssey, dude. It's like there was a whole sequence of Nemo escaping through the dentist's toilet that was cut from the movie because it didn't work.
And they are the kings and queens of realizing like we are aiming for perfection.
Yeah.
If it doesn't add up to the rest of this movie's
everybody
quality,
gets out or no one gets out.
Wait,
Like,
I gotta talk about that. He went a billion miles and a billion lives to rescue his son so that he could let him go.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, how touching is that, dude? I could cry right now just thinking about it. And it's such a classic filmmaking technique. But when he finally is like, Dad, you got to let me go up there and save these fish. Let me get them to swim down in this net so we can save them. And he has that quick flash of Nemo and the tadpole egg or whatever, the little larval egg. Just fucking tears, dude.
It's a father overcoming his neurosis. Yeah.
Special fun. Oh my God. It's just so fucking good. And I'm still laughing. Like I'm laughing through tears that whole fucking movie.
That story.
Were there any I hadn't seen this? Sure. That movie's great too. The character's great. Were there any on your rewatch, if you guys rewatched it, were there any moments that maybe you forgot or kind of really touched you now? Because I hadn't seen this in a long time.
I just want to say, if you have this movie on DVD or Blu-ray, put it on, put the disc in, and let it sit there. Yeah. Let the disc sit there. It's so much worth it. Yeah, it's so worth it. Yeah. He starts chastising you for not choosing anything.
Are you gonna get? Yeah.
The initiation
beautiful.
Really hit me.
Yeah,
like him actually having to become his own, but in a fish tank as opposed to the ocean. Like I don't know, that really got me. And also the voiceover. I mean, Brad Garrett, Allison Janney, Austin Pendleton is a New York legend. Stephen Root, who's now a legend thanks to Barry, but he's always been a legend. Elizabeth Perkins. I mean, what the fuck? Like all these people, we are unworthy of all of them being in a fucking fish tank in Australia.
They're all in the tank. Yeah, they're just the tank characters. I mean, their whole everything that happens in there is incredible.
Yeah.
One of the standout, I cried. So I'm not gonna lie. I had tears in my eyes this entire movie. I laughed really hard. Albert Brooks as Marlon, as the father, when they're preparing to leave the jet stream. They're on the turtles. Oh, yeah. And that little kid, the little baby turtle is like, well, we're going to have a safe ride, kids. And he's talking them through. And at the end, Marlon's like, I know he's trying to say something to me, but you're so cute, but I can't understand a single thing. That fucking cracks me up.
Yeah, you're right.
So
what I think one thing that really got me was when he finally, God, the structure is incredible. When he finally, his first breakthrough moment that he can have fun and achieve something dangerous by going through the jellyfish forest with Dory, and he races and beats her, and he realizes that he left her behind. He's not allowed to have fun. He's not allowed. He'll never be totally allowed to not be the father. That really touched me this time. When he goes back and you see her and she's just floating there. Oh man, that got me, Howard. Fucking beautiful. This movie is perfect, dude. You guys, it's perfect. This is gonna be a tough vote. I'm just saying, it's gonna be a tough vote.
I feel like it's time. We should probably throw down.
Fuck. I'm going
Dave,
first.
what are you doing, dude?
I'm going. No. Fuck you guys. I'm going first. I'm voting for Finding.
You don't want to decide?
I'm going for Finding Nemo. I love Spider-Man. It totally changed everything. I fucking love Finding Nemo. And this knocked me out when I saw it in theaters. And I know Spider-Man is a fantastic summer movie, so I'm putting this on you. You guys got to overrule me. Go.
I'm throwing Spider-Man.
Oh, God.
I'm throwing down for Spider-Man.
Oh, God.
Here we go.
Fuck you guys. God damn it.
Bring it, John.
This is fucking tough. No, because Jeff, you're right from what we were just saying with the other one. Summer movie, blockbuster, even though I love Finding Nemo, I probably wanted the Spider-Man experience more, but Finding Nemo is a better movie.
Then fucking do it.
Do
it. Summer Blockbuster Face-Off. Knock yourself out.
Join us, John. Be one of us. One of us.
Dave, you're gonna hate me.
Oh no!
But I'm gonna go for Finding Nemo.
Oh my god!
If I'm gonna go for it because I don't think we're gonna have another animated feature get into our next bracket, and I want something. If Shrek did not get there, I want something to get there, so that we can have some kind of.
Shrek is so good, but I think Finding Nemo is better than Shrek.
I do too. Yeah. So
for adults, maybe
Spider-Man probably deserves it.
It actually makes it.
Follow my logic here. Hold on, wait. Follow my logic for a second.
No.
I don't think Spider-Man. I don't think Spider-Man would have potentially won this entire thing in a wild card. There might be a version where Finding Nemo makes it to our final four. I think
in a weird situation.
I think it's that fantastic of a movie.
We'll see what happens.
Anyway, God, Spider-Man. This was a fantastic rewatch. So that year, Spider-Man and Finding Nemo, remarkable.
All right.
So Finding Nemo is passing through.
Mission Impossible 2 and Finding Nemo. I'm a little surprised. Oh my god, the Spider-Man. That's really funny.
A bit surprised as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure
Dave got upvoted
it's just
twice.
because we love Australia. We love Australia, Dave. That was for you, really. I did that for you. You're welcome.
Australia, I'm putting you in so many tags this week, so we better get some downloads. All right.
Whatever.
All right. That sound means that we have to finally wrap this up with a quick round of what you've been watching, where we go around the horn and give you our recommendations of the week, what you've been watching ahead of next week. And Dave's also going to tease the movies we did next week. So Dave, we'll pass it over to you. And do you have the movies lined up for next week? And then you want to segue into what you've been watching?
I do not have the movies lined up at all.
All right, why don't you do what you've been watching first?
Well,
I'll pull them up.
Yeah, I've been watching, again, Strange New Worlds. We're 3 episodes in, and I would say, hands down, episode 3 of Strange New Worlds is one of the best Trek episodes I've ever seen.
Wow.
Holy shit.
They are introducing New Kirk, and they have introduced him in a way that is fucking amazing. They linked it with Khan, so for anyone who's afraid to go there, that's happening. So yeah, It's like it's worth it. Absolutely worth it.
Have they already cast Khan yet?
As a kid, yes.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
John.
It's a time travel episode.
Okay, I'll do my. Do you want me to say what we're going to be watching next, or do you want me to hit my what have I been watching first?
Up to you.
Hit what you've been watching. We'll wrap it up.
What you've been watching? I went to, we're watching 4 movies a week, so I only got to see one other movie. I saw Indiana Jones too, so I saw one additional movie, which I'm going to strongly encourage people to see it. If you don't go see it in theaters, mark it for when it comes to streaming. It's a movie called Past Lives.
Oh yeah,
by Celine Song.
I've heard of this.
It's a really, really good adult romance. And by adult,
that is getting
it's not the happy ending. It's got a lot of buzz. It was in limited release in New York and LA. It spread to some other major cities too, and it has been going very strong. Like every night I would come home from work and try to find a seat. Well, it's set. It's a Korean film, but I don't even want to say that because so much of it is about her immigrating away from there. And it's mostly in New York City, but it is a Korean, initially a Korean film. Half of it is spoken in Korean.
No,
I can't say it enough.
I've heard a lot of good buzz about that.
A very adult film in a beautiful, touching, you're going to feel it kind of way. If you've ever been in love with anybody, you're probably going to feel this.
Damn.
I couldn't say that enough. So let me just shout out. Jeff, do you want to say what you've been watching?
Honestly, I haven't seen much. I'm just telling you that right when we finish this, I'm going to finish Silo, the first season. I've been watching. Dave's been watching too. It wrapped up this weekend. It's a holiday weekend, and I watched 5 movies this week as well. So obviously, I'm a little behind, but
Me too.
Silo's been really good. Yeah. And I'm really excited. I feel like this is a pivotal one to see if season 2 is going to really set up for success. But it's been a fantastic season. So shout out to Silo.
Is she just not in anything right now? She's in everything.
Rebecca Ferguson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And obviously Dune 2 is coming out soon. But yeah, oh my God. Fuck yeah. John, what do we got next week?
All right. This is a weird...
It's a weird bracket.
A weird week. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
This is weird. So for 2000, it's 2004 versus 5, and then 2006 versus 7. 2004, Shrek 2. Sound familiar?
Shrek
We'll be back for
we
more.
just mentioned that. Yeah.
2005, the third installment of the new Star Wars from the early 2000s, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. We talked about it a little bit. We'll talk about it more. Crazy, dude. 2006, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. That's the second installment.
Davy Jones Locker. Let's go. Bill Nye.
And Bill Nye. Are you ready? I think we know what's going to win that one because Spider-Man 3 is 2007.
That actually won the box office this year? How the fuck did Ghostbusters and Raiders not get passed on?
Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's just like...
You can only blame yourselves, people.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
You can only blame yourselves.
All right. That was a great episode.
Awesome, guys. Can't wait to listen back to this. Hope you guys enjoyed your listen of this. Can't wait to see you next week for another fun episode. And very soon... we're going to get into our semifinals or quarterfinals, however we feel like doing
the
next round
bracket is coming soon.
Let's go.
Battles have started to form up, and people are going to be pissed.
I hope so. I hope you're pissed. Come on, come at me. I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And I voted for some of this. All right, people. Thank you so much for listening. Anything else before we go? You too?
No.
This coming weekend is a very big weekend, right?
Mission Impossible. We had another week.
No, Mission Impossible is next week.
I thought it was
Oppenheimer, Barbie, right?
22nd.
Week after.
Mission Impossible is the 12th. Mission Impossible is the 12th. Oppenheimer is the 21st.
One of those two will be our 200th episode.
Okay. All right.
My mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. Oh, here we go. See you guys.
Bye.